on Drury Lane.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way.
Hi, thanks for coming or joining us today. My name is Stephanie Foreman. I am the founder and president of a nonprofit called Liv4theCure. And this is Erin Foreman and Olivia Foreman. And Olivia is the reason that we started the nonprofit. We are funding research for chromosomal deletion syndromes. When Olivia was born in October of 2014, and when she was about 5 months old, she seemed a little bit developmentally delayed. So we went to the doctor and we did some tests and we found out that she had something called Liv4 syndrome. So Liv4 syndrome is a deletion on the 4th chromosome, and it has a lot of symptoms, but the symptoms vary based upon the child, based upon what part of the gene has been deleted. So in Olivia's case, she has hypotonia, which is low muscle tone. She has seizures, which is our biggest threat. And she has a heart defect. She's developmentally and intellectually delayed. So she's 4 now, and she doesn't yet walk or talk. Although she's learning how to walk, and we'll show you hopefully that at some point. But we realized that as we looked into Liv4 syndrome and the research that was going on, that there really wasn't a lot of research being done. So we decided that we would take the leap and start our foundation, and that's where Liv4theCure came from. And actually, Liv is Olivia, the number 4 is the 4th chromosome, and the cure is what we believe that we can do with the foundation.
So I think initially the focus of any nonprofit is to look at the disease that you're trying to treat. And that's how we were founded, with my daughter and Liv4 disease. And what we really found out was that the technology is not present to actually perform any kind of treatments on them. They're very sophisticated. It's a very sophisticated problem. And currently the industry only allows for what they call monotherapy, or monogenomic therapies are typically what the studies involve. And that's where you have a single gene that needs to be corrected, and there's great pathways to perform those treatments. So the organization has taken a step back with the science, and we're trying to develop new technologies, a new platform to treat kids with large chromosomal deletions. And not just Liv4, there's many diseases that have what we call deletion syndrome, some form of deletion to a chromosome that cause a myriad of abnormalities, and their mortality is very high. Kids with Liv4, for example, could die within the first couple of years of their life, or they can live generally very normal lives with these pretty horrific disease states that they have. For instance, the seizures and the hypotonia, very impactful to their lives. So we're trying to get scientists together to develop a new delivery system for large chromosomal deletions.
So Olivia is now 4 years old. She's been living with WHS for, well, known to us for 3.5 years. So as soon as we got the diagnosis, we started her in multiple therapies. So she does a lot of therapy, physical therapy, occupational speech. She works really hard. She's a very perseverant kid. She has learned to crawl. She's learned to climb all over the furniture, which is fun to see her be an independent little girl that can move about on her own, which we didn't know where she would actually get as she grew up. She's now learning to crawl or walk with a stander, or a walker, excuse me, and she's generally a very happy little girl. We hardly ever see Olivia cry.
How about this one?
Hey, je suis Bob le train.
How about French, babe?
We often catch her watching in French or Spanish videos, which we think it's kind of funny. And while she's not verbal, we're afraid one day she's going to wake up speaking French and we won't understand her anyway, so this is going to be a problem. So. You like this one? There's always the challenge of trying to find exactly what she wants, but that's okay.
She's very particular in her YouTube watching.
Yes.
YouTube kids shows watching, I should say.
She's keeping YouTube in business for sure. Are you gonna watch? Do you want something that sings? What do you want? Do you want a singing video? Ooh, how about this guy?
Oh, hi. I still can't quite make up
Who's
my
that?
mind
Is that
about
Telly?
my favorite song.
Yeah?
I thought it was the alphabet song.
You like
but
this one,
no,
Twinkle Twinkle?
no. Would you mind singing another song with me? Would you mind singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with me? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Twinkle Little Star is absolutely, positively my favorite song. We like Tell Elmo.
Oh, bye-bye, Telly.
Bye-bye, Black Sheep. Bye-bye, Black Sheep.
Now what, Bucky? Touch it. Good job.
Her ability to touch things like that, like you and I take for granted, takes many, many months to develop. And the iPad is a great assistant for her to develop those fine motor skills. So she's beginning to make choices to use that iPad in a manner that allows us to communicate with her. So we have special programs that allow her to choose yes or no, and so it's been a great asset for us, the iPad.
So in 2019, the board and Aaron and I were putting on a couple events. In January 26th, we have a pub crawl through the mall, which we actually did last year, which was a very successful event, and we're doing it again this year. And it goes through the mall to different restaurants and has specials and free cab rides home, and so that's a good event. In March 1st, we're having a cocktail event at Glen Theater, and it's Cocktails for the Cure, and that includes a silent auction. Again, another event we did last year that we really enjoyed, so we're doing that again. And then in the fall of 2019, we're doing a food truck festival, which we did last year and we enjoyed, so we wanted to do it again, but I think it's going to be a little bit bigger, a little different this year. But all of the board members are very active in our community events and all participate a lot in all the work that goes into something like that. So as far as Liv4theCure and what we're doing at Liv4theCure, Aaron, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
What our purpose is?
Yeah. I think there's a profound truth about science, and it's a truth that ultimately gives us great empowerment, but also is of great hardship to us, great challenge for us, and that is money. The empowerment piece comes into play when you talk to a scientist and you say, you know, is there a cure for my son or daughter with a deletion syndrome? And they say 100%, they say no. And your next question is, well, if I had the funding to support a study, could you develop some kinds of cures to treat them? And 100% of the scientists say yes, it is possible. So it's very empowering to think that if we could raise the money, that we potentially find some cures for some of the ailments that they have to go through, that they have in their syndrome. Additionally, the hardship is, of course, trying to find the money to support the treatment, and it's purposeful treatment. There are treatment ways to deliver gene therapy to children. They're doing it today, but they're mostly on single gene aberrations. So Libby has hundreds of genes that are affected by the syndrome, and technology-wise, there is no way to treat such a disorder. So, the way I can equate it is, if you were to go to the hospital with a broken arm, you would expect, if they taped up your arm, you would not expect that. The purposeful treatment for a broken arm is to have a cast. So, but if you came in with a broken toe, you might expect them to use tape and tape your toe to a toe beside it. So having the right treatment for the right disorder is very, very important. So we've had the opportunity to speak with some of the best scientists in the world, and we come to realize that one of the most important aspects of this endeavor is the funding, the capital. What it does is it buys you some of the best talent in the world, but that talent, there are hidden costs that go beyond the project. They need to know. They're very short career scientists, and studies can last anywhere from 3 to 10 years, so you don't have a great deal of opportunity to be successful. And so they're very adamant about, in fact, I would say the number one important thing for them is longevity of the project, the ability.
So what are our goals at Liv4theCure? We have a couple. We'd like to get the community aware of what chromosomal deletion syndromes are, because we don't really think that a lot of people, other than the families that are touched by these syndromes, really know what it means to have a chromosomal deletion syndrome. 2, we'd like to get other families with chromosomal deletion syndromes interested and knowing what we're doing for them, as well as the Wolf-Hirschhorn community, which is what Olivia has. And 3, we ultimately do expect to find treatments and a cure for Wolf-Hirschhorn syndrome. Actually, Priscilla Chan of the Chan-Zuckerberg Initiative said it really well, that they plan to cure all diseases by the end of the century. And I honestly believe that we're in a place that we can do that. I believe that there's technology, that we're at a place in technology that if we get the right people together and we get the interest in what we're talking about, the chromosomal deletions, the large chromosomal deletions, that we can find a cure for these kids. And can you imagine maybe the kids that are a little older, it'll affect them in the sense that some of their symptoms will go away. They won't have these awful seizures anymore, and they'll maybe gain cognitively a little bit, and they won't have bad reflux or these awful things that happen to these kids with the deletion syndromes. But think about the families that haven't even had their children, and they have this diagnosis that changes their world. And can you imagine if before that child is born we can make a difference? It's a big deal. So, didn't expect to cry, but that's it. We have big goals, and we really plan on making a difference.
Living as a guardian, as a parent of a person with a syndrome, really of any kind, is a daily chore that is just really, really difficult. You really have to watch them. You have to know, because they typically can't communicate. Certainly in the Wolf-Hirschhorn community, when they're small, they generally don't talk. So it's very hard to know when our child is feeling sick or if there's a seizure potentially coming on. And so, like last April, we went to bed, all of us, everything was fine, and we hear a loud bang come from her room, and we went into her room and she was in a full-blown seizure. It was probably the closest to death that she's ever come. She had aspirated and couldn't breathe, and so thankfully we got up, because the bang wasn't particularly unusual. I mean, you hear things in your house, but that day we could have lost her. So I think with other syndromes, they could have a degenerative process to them. Wolf-Hirschhorn isn't generally degenerative, but there are certainly things that are life-threatening, and we need to keep an eye out for. So you're always under a constant state of alert, and you can't really relax. You have to make sure that she's taken care of and that she's okay. And what do you think? I
think also just for any family with special needs kids that you're constantly going to the doctor, you're constantly dealing with multiple specialists, you're constantly dealing with health insurance, and
you're in the ambulance a lot.
We spend a lot of time at Albany Med. But I mean, on the flip side of that, we're talking about all the bad things about living with a child with a syndrome. You know, Olivia brings a completely different perspective to our life. Things that we used to think were important have totally changed. Our importance is being healthy each day and making sure that she has what she needs. She brings us a lot of joy. She's a happy kid. And she's it's a much more simple look at life. So what's important to me at this point in my life is Olivia, our Jack, our other child, their health, and really making Liv4theCure something where we can show that we've made a difference. There's so many families, and I'm friendly with a lot of them, especially with the Liv4theCure community, that are looking for someone to make a difference for their kids. And I really would like to come up with treatments to help with the symptoms for our children, and also really honestly find a cure, which I know a lot of people think is too far off or doesn't really exist. But talking to the scientists that we've talked to, I really actually do believe it does exist. It's just time that it'll take to get there.
At Liv4theCure, I think that our ultimate goals are to try and develop treatments where scientists have very often considered them impossible. We're now seeing that they are looking at them with some new light, and they do feel like it is possible with the right team that's put together and the right funding. So I think our goal with this is just to push the industry. We've created quite a wave in the industry so far, and it's been all positive. So we're happy even with that. It's just been fantastic.
There's also
do some dancing.
Here, Peppa Boo. Do you want to walk? Let's walk. Ready? Let's walk.
Give it a walk.
Good job, Bobby. Good job. Nice walking.
Okay.
Nice walking, buggers.
You're almost
Good
there.
job. Oh, there you are.
Good job.
Moves that. So you might wonder why we call ourselves Liv4theCure. Olivia, or Liv, is the reason we started all of this. The 4 is the number 4, the 4th chromosome that she has deletion on. And the cure is the cure that Liv4theCure is going to fund and find. So one of the things that's really hard to convey to people is we talk to scientists constantly trying to figure out which way to go with the science of where we're going to put our funding with Liv4theCure. And we talk about genes and deletions and chromosomes, and most people don't talk in that kind of speak on a normal basis unless they have a child with a chromosomal issue or a genetic syndrome. So to make it really simple, Olivia's missing part of her gene, and the gene is what makes up who we are. So as a result, because of her gene missing, she has all these symptoms, these seizures, these developmental and physical delays, and her physical traits like a heart defect. And a lot of kids have way worse symptoms than Olivia, so she's actually really lucky. So what we're doing is we're funding research to make a difference in these children's lives. So what do people ask us usually when we talk about Liv4theCure? A lot of people ask us, what are we doing? What's our goals? What's our mission? And our mission is really to fund research for children with chromosomal deletion syndromes, to give them treatments for their symptoms and to find a cure for their deletion. Which again, I've said many times, but we really do believe, talking to scientists, that we're on the road to doing and being able to do that. So in 2019, one of our big goals is to bring a bunch of relevant scientists together in one room to brainstorm new technologies for gene delivery systems.
Hello again. So those are all great, important points, very detailed scientific side of what we do. But as an individual, how could you get involved in what we're doing? Steph, what would you say? How could people get involved in the community?
Well, so definitely we want people to be aware of what we're doing, so spread the word. In 2019 we're considering doing like little meet and greet events so that we can kind of tell our story, and at the same time you can have your friends and family together, and we can make people aware of what we're doing, because I think there's a lot of people out there that are affected by deletion syndromes and they just haven't heard of us yet. The other things you could do, in 2019 we have a pub crawl on January 26th at Crossgates. We have a cocktail party at Glen Peter on March 1st, and you can follow our events on our Liv4theCure website. That's liv4thecure.org. And if you want to support us with any of those events, we can always use volunteers, or if you want to just come and have fun, that's great too. And obviously, if you feel in your heart to donate, we would love your donation, and we appreciate it very much. And we'd be happy to work with you in figuring out where your donation is going. So if any of those things sound appealing to you, or you feel touched by our story, you can also reach out to me if you have any other ideas at liv4thecure@gmail.com, and I'd love to talk to you more.
The show you are watching has been produced by SACC.TV. SAC-TV is a not-for-profit organization that provides educational programming, seeking to enrich communities by producing shows on culture, science, health, the arts, and more. SAC-TV is member-driven, which means that we rely on donations, grants, underwriting, and volunteers to deliver quality content. SAC.TV has been in operation continually since 1974 and currently operates a full-time studio in Rotterdam, New York. In recent years, SAC.TV has produced over 500 community-driven programs that are all available to view free to the public on www.sac.tv, on demand 24 hours a day. SAC.tv also airs shows on local television, channels such as WNYT, My4 Albany, with programs like Do You Know the Muffin Man, Caught in the Crossfire, Scene TV, Tune Into Wellness Today, and The Janice Thompson Show. Check your local programming schedule or www.sac.tv for times and dates. In SAC.tv's mission to connect and inform communities and individuals, every week we're producing new shows. To be able to provide this service, we are in need of your help. There's a lot of ways you can help SAC.tv and in turn help your community. Visit www.sac.tv. There you can click on Donate and select the contribution level of your choice. You can also help SAC.tv by sponsoring an ongoing program, volunteering behind the scenes, or even producing your own show. And as always, if you enjoy what you've seen, visit us on YouTube and Facebook. Subscribe, like, share, and pass the word around. For more information and to see the latest shows, visit www.sac.tv or contact us as director@sac.tv or by phone at 518-831-9145. For now, back to our program, and stay tuned for more great shows.
We're just peeking out to tell you again what we're doing at Liv4theCure. So we've opened up our life to you, and you've met Olivia. There's a lot of other kids like Olivia, a lot of kids that face these struggles every day to walk, to talk, they have seizures, they have other physical abnormalities. And I guess our goal at Liv4theCure is really to help these children, to give them treatments and hopefully in the end give them a cure and cure these kids that aren't even born yet. If you're interested in following our story on Liv4theCure, it's liv4thecure.org. We now have a blog where I share the story of Liv4theCure and our journey as we've been building what we have at this point. I share Olivia's story, and then I also share the story of what it's like to be a caregiver of a child with special needs. So one of the things with Olivia is her seizures, which we've talked about, and she was granted a Make-A-Wish this year, and Olivia's Make-A-Wish was to get a seizure dog. So she's getting a seizure alert dog from Four Paws for Ability, which was on Fox News 2 days ago, which was really cool. And we're really looking forward to being able to sleep at night because we worry every night that she's going to seize.
Well, it was such a pleasure to have you join us for this video, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day, and we hope to hear from you soon and see you at one of our events in the Capital District. Thank you.
Well, welcome back. I'm still trying to bake the muffins. But finally, I think we're finished. I hope you enjoyed our show today. If you would like to make an order or donate muffins to charity, then please go to the website listed below. With every muffin order, we donate muffins to the charity of your choice. I call it giving your dough to charity. I also encourage you to donate directly to the featured charity today by going directly to our website and getting their information. Thank you very much for watching, and keep on dancing through life by giving to others through love. Let me finish baking these muffins, and see you next time.